So, what if I told you that the biggest thing holding your company back from its next big idea isn't a lack of talent, but a lack of difference? Today, we're going to dive into a concept that is absolutely changing the game for how top teams are built. It's called cognitive diversity. And trust me, it's way more than just a buzzword. It is a serious competitive advantage. Oh man, I think we've all been here, right? You're in a room, it's full of smart, capable people, but nothing's happening. The whiteboard is just empty, you hear the same old ideas bouncing around, and there's just zero fresh perspective. This cartoon just nails that feeling of groupthink. But what's really going on under the surface? Well, the root of the problem is what we can call the echo chamber. It's this trap where everyone agrees, ideas just get repeated and amplified, and any kind of dissent, well, it just fades away. And the scary part is, most of the time, nobody even realizes it's happening. So let's break down why. Okay, so the main culprit here is a little shortcut our brains take called affinity bias. It's totally natural. It's human. We just tend to gravitate towards people who think like us, act like us, and maybe even look like us. And while that's great for making friends in a business, it's a disaster. It leads to building teams of clones. And as we just saw, that is exactly where creativity goes to die. So, if hiring a carbon copy of yourself is the problem, what's the fix? Well, the answer is embracing a totally different kind of diversity. We're not just talking demographics here, we're talking about getting to the very core of how people think. This, right here, is the cognitive diversity advantage. And this is the key thing to get. Cognitive diversity isn't about what people look like on the outside. It's all about how they're wired on the inside. It's about different perspectives, how we each process information, how we see the world, our unique styles for solving problems. And look, this isn't some new age trend. The research on this goes back over 50 years, and it proves its impact again and again. Okay, so that's a nice concept, but what does it actually mean for the bottom line? Why should you, as a leader, or even just as a team member, actually go out of your way to build this kind of diversity? Well, the data is pretty incredible. A major study from Deloitte found that when you get different thinking styles in the same room, you see a 20% spike in innovation. That's not a small tweak. That means more new ideas, more creative solutions, and a much better ability to pivot and adapt when things change. But it's not just about coming up with new stuff. Get this, that same study found these teams are also 30% better at reducing risk. And why is that? Well, it's because when you have people who see the world differently, someone's way more likely to spot a blind spot or challenge a bad assumption before it turns into a huge, costly mistake. So it's the best of both worlds. You get more innovation, and you protect the downside. Okay, so we know what it is and why it's so valuable. But how does it actually work? Like, what's the secret sauce that turns a group of different thinkers into a powerhouse team? It's all about building what you could call a collective team brain. Now, the goal here isn't just to have a bunch of clashing opinions. No. It's about weaving those different perspectives together to create something bigger, a single, powerful, collective intelligence. The idea is that the team literally becomes smarter than any single person in it. It can see things and solve things that one person on their own never could. This team brain idea works through a few key systems. First, everyone kind of knows who knows what, so you're not wasting time. You go right to the expert. Second, the team aligns on what should we focus on right now, so everyone's pulling in the same direction. And third, there's a shared understanding of how do we solve this thing. When you get those three in sync, the team just clicks and operates like one mind. And this is where different thinking styles become a superpower. You have these two key types of problem solvers. You've got your adapters. They are amazing at making existing systems better, more efficient, more streamlined. Then you have your innovators. They're the ones who want to question the whole system and maybe build something completely new. You need both. The adapters keep the ship running perfectly, while the innovators are the ones figuring out where the ship should go next. And that brings us to one of the most exciting and frankly impactful frontiers of all this today, harnessing the incredible power of neurodiversity. This is where that whole team brain idea gets supercharged. So, what do huge companies like SAP, JP Morgan Chase, HP, and ANZ Bank all have in common? They are all at the forefront of actively recruiting and building programs for neurodivergent talent. We're talking about individuals with neurological differences like autism, ADHD, and dyslexia. They figured out that this is a massive, and for a long time, an untapped source of competitive advantage. And like Nikki Wells points out here, this isn't a small thing. We're talking about maybe 1 in 5 people in the workforce. So creating an environment that works for them isn't just a nice thing to do, It's a business imperative. It's about getting access to a huge pool of talent that many companies are just ignoring. And when companies really truly commit to this, the results are not just a little bit better. They are staggering. I mean, let's just take JP Morgan Chase, for example. Just look at that number, 92%. JP Morgan's Autism at Work program found that in certain roles, their autistic employees were up to 92% more productive than their neurotypical colleagues. Let that sink in. This isn't a small edge. This is a total game changer. And it's real-world proof that embracing different ways of thinking can unlock levels of performance you didn't even know were possible. So we looked at the problem, the solution, and the absolutely incredible potential. Now it's time for the most important question. Where do you and where does your organization fit into all this? Deloitte put together this maturity model, and it's a fantastic way to do a quick gut check. Be honest with yourself. Are you at level 1, where diversity is really just about checking a legal box? Or maybe level 2, where it's an HR thing with a few workshops? The real goal is to get to level 3, where leaders are championing this, and ultimately to level 4, where cognitive diversity is just baked into your DNA. It's part of your strategy, your culture, and it's just how you work. Where does your team really sit today? You know, in the end, it all boils down to this one simple but really powerful question. There is a huge difference between a team that just thinks alike, stuck in that echo chamber from the beginning, and a team that has learned how to truly think together, using every single unique perspective to become something so much more powerful. So, which team are you building?